What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, your body is performing thousands of miracles? Not tomorrow, not when you finally fix what's wrong. Right now, your cells are regenerating, your heart is beating without you asking, your lungs are breathing while you sleep. And yet, somewhere along the way, you started believing that your body is broken, that it's working against you, that you need to fight it, control it, punish it into being well. But what if everything you've been taught about healing is backwards? I'm going to share something with you tonight that changed everything for me. And I know it sounds almost too simple to be true, but sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It doesn't require a prescription. It starts with something so gentle, so quiet, that most people miss it entirely. A single breath, a whisper of kindness, a moment of actually listening to the wisdom that's been living inside you all along. Your body isn't your enemy. I know it might feel that way when you're in pain, when you're exhausted, when nothing seems to work. But here's what I discovered. Every symptom, every ache, every restless night, it's not a punishment, it's a conversation. And the moment you stop fighting that conversation and start listening, everything begins to shift. So take a breath with me right now. Just one. Not a deep yoga breath or a perfect meditation breath. Just breathe like you're finally home after a long, exhausting day. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. And for just this moment, consider the possibility that your body has been waiting for you to return, not with demands or disappointment, but with curiosity, with compassion. Because healing doesn't always begin where you think it does. It doesn't start with fixing or forcing. Sometimes it begins with the simplest question: what are you trying to tell me? When you ask that question with genuine tenderness, when you place your hand on your heart and actually wait for an answer, something ancient and wise inside you wakes up, something that's been there all along, quietly keeping you alive, desperately trying to guide you back to balance. Most of us were never taught this language. We were taught to silence discomfort, to push through pain, to ignore the signals until they become screams. We learned that rest is laziness, that tears are weakness, that our bodies should just obey without question. And so we became strangers in our own skin. We started seeing symptoms as enemies instead of messengers. We forgot that every tight muscle is telling a story, every headache is holding information, every moment of fatigue is an invitation to slow down and listen. I carried tension in my jaw for years before I realized it was because I'd been holding back words I needed to say. I felt tightness in my chest and blamed my lungs, when really my heart was asking me to stop carrying everyone else's emotions. I had stomach troubles that no diet could fix because I was trying to digest experiences I'd never fully processed. My body was speaking. I just didn't know how to hear it yet. And here's what nobody tells you. Your body doesn't speak in logic or diagnoses or medical terms. It speaks in sensation, in intuition, in that quiet knowing that rises up when you finally get still enough to feel it, that unease in your belly before you walk into a room, that lightness in your chest when you're near someone who truly sees you, that heaviness in your limbs when you're doing something that's slowly draining your spirit. These aren't random, they're guidance. They're your internal compass trying to help you navigate a world that often asks you to ignore yourself completely. But we live in a culture that worships the mind and treats the body like a machine that should just keep running. We've been taught that thinking is superior to feeling, that productivity matters more than presence, that we should override our needs in service of some external standard of success or acceptability. And our bodies, they've been absorbing all of it. The stress we don't express, the grief we don't allow, the anger we smile through, the exhaustion we caffeinate past, the loneliness we scroll away from. Your body holds what your mind tries to forget. It stores the moments you couldn't cry. It remembers the times you said yes when everything inside you was screaming no. It carries the weight of unexpressed truth, unprocessed emotion, and the quiet violence of ignoring yourself day after day. And then one day it speaks louder, through pain, through illness, through symptoms that force you to finally stop and pay attention. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can see your body as broken, as something that betrayed you, as an obstacle to overcome, or you can see it as it truly is, your most loyal companion, the one that's been trying to protect you all along, the one that's been whispering, then speaking, then finally shouting, "Please listen to me, I'm on your side." What would it feel like to stop fighting? What would happen if just for today you treated your body the way you'd treat a frightened child who came to you for comfort? You wouldn't yell at them for being scared. You wouldn't punish them for not being stronger. You'd hold them. You'd listen. You'd say, "I hear you. You're safe. I'm here now." That's what your body needs from you. Not another diet. Not another routine you'll abandon when it gets hard. Not criticism disguised as motivation. It needs you to come home, to stop abandoning it every time it doesn't perform the way you think it should, to recognize that it has been doing everything in its power to keep you alive, to keep you functioning, even when you've given it every reason to give up. Place your hand on your heart right now. Feel it beating. You didn't make that happen. You're not controlling it with your thoughts or your willpower. It's just happening. Miracle after miracle after miracle. Your cells are replacing themselves. Your body is digesting, circulating, filtering, healing. All of it without your conscious effort. And yet somehow you've convinced yourself that you're broken. You're not broken. You're brilliantly, beautifully designed to heal. But healing requires something our culture doesn't value. It requires stillness. It requires listening. It requires the willingness to feel instead of constantly thinking your way through everything. It requires you to trust that your body knows things your mind hasn't figured out yet. So let's try something. Close your eyes if you can. And instead of thinking about your body, feel it. Where are you holding tension right now? Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just notice. Your shoulders, your jaw, your belly, your hips. Where does it feel tight? Where does it feel heavy? And instead of pushing that sensation away, what if you breathed into it? What if you imagined that tight spot as a small child tugging on your sleeve, desperately trying to get your attention? What would you say to that child? You might say, "I see you. I'm sorry I've been ignoring you. I'm here now." And then you'd breathe. You'd soften. You'd let that place in your body know that it doesn't have to shout anymore. You're finally listening. You're finally willing to work with it instead of against it. This is where real healing begins. Not in a doctor's office, though medicine has its place. Not in a supplement or a superfood or the perfect morning routine. It begins in the quiet space between you and your body, in that sacred conversation that's been waiting to happen, in the moment you stop seeing your body as something to control and start seeing it as something to collaborate with. Because your body wants to be well, it's designed for wellness. It's oriented toward balance. Every single moment, it's trying to bring you back to center. When you cut yourself, it heals. When you break a bone, it repairs. When you get sick, your immune system fights. All of this happens without you having to figure it out or force it. Your body knows. It's always known. The question is, are you willing to trust it? I spent years trying to heal through control, through restriction and discipline and pushing harder, through treating my body like an obstacle course I needed to conquer. And all of that just created more tension, more resistance, more disconnection. The real shift happened when I stopped fighting and started listening. When I began to speak to my body the way I'd speak to someone I deeply loved. Try it now. Say this with me, either out loud or in the quiet of your heart. I love and accept my body exactly as it is right now, not when it's thinner or stronger or pain-free, right now, as it is, tired, aching, imperfect, human. Say it again. I love and accept my body exactly as it is. Feel the resistance if it comes up. That's okay. That resistance is just old programming. Years of being told you're not enough until you change. But you are enough. Your body is enough. It's been enough all along. And when you speak to yourself this way, something shifts at a cellular level. Your nervous system hears, we're safe now. We don't have to fight. Your immune system gets the message, we're supported. We can heal. Your muscles release because there's no longer a war happening inside you. You're no longer at odds with yourself. You're becoming one. Mind, body, spirit, all working together instead of pulling in different directions. This is the power of words, not just any words, but words spoken with genuine feeling, with the tenderness of a mother comforting her child. My body is healing in every moment. Say that, feel it, let it sink past your thinking mind and into the deeper waters where belief lives. I trust the wisdom of my body. Again, I am safe to feel, I am safe to heal, I am safe to rest. These aren't just affirmations you repeat mechanically. They're invitations, they're love letters to the parts of yourself you've been at war with. They're apologies to the body you've blamed for being human. They're promises that you're done abandoning yourself every time things get hard. Think about it. You've probably spent years, maybe decades, speaking to yourself with a harshness you'd never use with anyone else, criticizing your reflection, punishing yourself for eating, cursing your body for being tired, for gaining weight, for showing signs of stress or age. You've carried on an internal dialogue of disappointment as if cruelty could somehow motivate wellness. But it never does it? Fear doesn't heal. Shame doesn't restore. Criticism doesn't create vitality. What creates healing is the opposite. It's the gentle recognition that you're doing your best, that your body has been doing its best too under impossible circumstances, that maybe, just maybe, you both deserve some kindness, some patience, some understanding for the journey you've been on. So let's practice something different right now. I want you to place both hands on your belly. This is often a place we hold judgment, where we've stored years of criticism about our bodies. But your belly is also your center. It's where you first received nourishment in the womb. It's where you breathe from when you're truly relaxed. It's where your gut, your second brain, processes emotion and intuition. Place your hands there now and say, I forgive you. Not because your belly did anything wrong, but because you've been at war with it. I forgive you for not being flat. I forgive you for being soft. I forgive you for holding on to what I couldn't emotionally release. Feel the warmth of your hands. Let that warmth be an apology, a peace offering, a new beginning. Now move your hands to your heart. Feel it beating under your palms. This heart that's been breaking and mending and staying open through everything. This heart that keeps loving even when you forget to love yourself. Say to it, thank you. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for staying open. Thank you for beating, for feeling, for hoping even when I was too scared to. Do you feel how different that is? How your body softens when you speak to it with love instead of demand? That softening is healing. That's your nervous system shifting out of fight or flight and into rest and repair. That's the moment when your body finally feels safe enough to let go of what it's been holding. And here's something beautiful. You don't have to believe these words completely for them to work. You just have to be willing to say them, to practice them, to let them gently reprogram the harsh inner voice that's been running the show. Every time you choose a kind thought over a critical one, every time you speak gently to your pain instead of cursing it, every time you choose rest instead of pushing through, you're creating new pathways. You're teaching your body that it's safe to let go, that it doesn't have to hold on to everything anymore. Imagine your body as a house you've been living in but never really seeing. You've walked these halls for years, but always in a rush, always focused on the next task, never stopping to notice the cracks that need attention, the rooms that need light, the spaces begging to be honored. What if today you finally stopped? What if you walked through your body slowly, with reverence, noticing where it's been calling for love? Your feet that carry you everywhere, asking for gentler ground, your hands that give so much, longing to receive, your heart that's been beating faithfully, hoping you'll finally feel how strong it is, how willing it is to stay open even after everything, your lungs breathing you through every emotion, waiting for you to slow down and really feel the gift of each inhale. When was the last time you thanked your body, not for how it looks, but for what it does, for waking you up this morning, for digesting your food, for fighting off infections you don't even know about, for carrying you through heartbreak and joy and everything in between? Your body has been your home since the day you were born, and it will be until your last breath. What if you treated it like the sacred space it is? Take 3 deep breaths with me now. Slow, intentional, loving breaths. As you inhale, imagine you're breathing in light, pure, golden, healing light. And as you exhale, imagine you're releasing everything that doesn't serve you anymore. The fear, the criticism, the old stories about what your body should be. Inhale light, exhale everything else, again and once more. Can you feel the difference? That's your body responding. That's your nervous system softening. That's healing happening in real time. Not because you forced it, because you allowed it, because you finally created space for it. Now I want you to imagine something with me. Picture every cell in your body as a tiny point of light, billions of them, glowing softly. Some might feel bright and vibrant. Others might feel dim, tired. That's okay. Don't judge them. Just see them. With each breath you take, imagine fresh oxygen flowing to these cells like gentle rain. See the dim ones brightening. See the tired ones receiving support. Your body is doing this right now. Your breath is literally feeding every cell. Your kindness is creating an environment where they can thrive. Now, if there's a part of your body that's been in pain or discomfort, send light there specifically, not to fix it or force it to change, but to acknowledge it, to say, I see you, I'm here with you. You don't have to hurt alone anymore. Imagine that place wrapped in soft, warm, golden light, like the most comforting embrace you've ever received. This isn't magical thinking. This is the mind-body connection that science is catching up to. When you visualize healing, when you direct loving attention to parts of your body, you increase blood flow. You activate the parasympathetic nervous system. You signal to your immune system that it's safe to repair. You literally change your body's chemistry through the quality of your attention. Your thoughts are not separate from your cells. Your beliefs are not disconnected from your biology. Every thought sends signals throughout your system. Stress thoughts create stress hormones. Loving thoughts create healing chemistry. It's that simple and that profound. You see, healing isn't something you do to your body. It's something that happens when you stop doing so much, when you stop fighting, controlling, criticizing, demanding, when you create the conditions for wellness through rest, through kindness, through actually listening to what your body needs instead of what your mind thinks it should need. Maybe it needs more sleep, not more productivity. Maybe it needs gentler movement, not harder workouts. Maybe it needs emotional release, not more suppression. Maybe it needs you to say no to things that drain you. Maybe it needs you to honor your hunger, your need for solitude or connection or creative expression. Maybe it's been asking for these things all along, and you've been too busy to hear. This is your permission to slow down, to feel, to honor the wisdom of your body over the demands of a world that will always ask for more. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. You're allowed to care for yourself with the same devotion you give to everyone else. And as you do this, as you soften into partnership with your body, you'll notice something. The pain starts to shift, the fatigue begins to lift, the symptoms start to quiet, not all at once, but gradually, gently, the way spring arrives. One warm day, then another, until suddenly you realize winter is over and you're blooming again. This is how I healed, not through force or fear or punishment, but through breath, through forgiveness, through love, through learning to see my body not as my enemy, but as my home. And you can too. You're already doing it. Right now, by reading these words, by breathing more softly, by even considering the possibility that healing doesn't have to be a fight. But let me tell you something else. Sometimes, as you start to soften and listen, emotions come up. Old grief, buried anger, sadness you never had time to feel. This isn't a setback. This is healing. Your body has been storing these emotions in your tissues, your organs, your muscles, and now that you're finally creating space, they're ready to move through and out. Don't be afraid of this. Tears are not weakness, they're wisdom leaving the body. Anger isn't dangerous when you let it flow without harm. It's just energy that's been trapped, finally finding its way out. Sadness isn't depression, it's the heart releasing what it can no longer carry. Let it come, let it move, let it leave. You might cry in the shower for no reason you can name. You might feel waves of emotion while you're driving or cooking or lying in bed at night. This is your body finally feeling safe enough with you to release what it's been holding. Honor it, thank it, let it flow. On the other side of that release is more space, more lightness, more capacity for joy and presence and aliveness. Your body is not just physical, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's spiritual, and true healing touches all of these dimensions. When you breathe consciously, you heal the physical. When you speak kindly to yourself, you heal the emotional. When you visualize light and wellness, you heal the energetic. When you trust in something larger than your individual will, you heal the spiritual. All of this works together. All of this matters. You don't have to understand exactly how. You just have to show up day after day, breath after breath, kind word after kind word. Your consistency is more powerful than any single moment of intensity. Small, loving actions repeated over time create transformation that lasts. Say this with me one last time, like a promise you're making to yourself. I trust my body. My body is my friend. I am safe to heal. Again, slower. I trust my body. My body is my friend. I am safe to heal. And one more. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. This was one of my first affirmations, and I said it even when I didn't believe it, but I kept saying it. And slowly it became true. Not because the words were magic, but because they changed my focus. They changed what I looked for. They changed how I spoke to myself. And that changed everything. Feel those words settle into your bones. Let them become your truth. You are not broken. You never were. You're just finally learning to listen. And in that listening, in that gentle returning to yourself, everything you've been searching for is waiting, not somewhere out there, right here, right inside you. It always has been. Welcome home, my dear. Your body has been waiting for you.